At the end of last year, there were about 1,400 women in Illinois' prison system. One group is aiming to cut that number in half. Detailed in the report, Redefining the Narrative, a task force of hundreds of experts, researchers, and formerly incarcerated women put together a list of recommendations to not only cut the population, but to better support women while in and out of prison. Joining us are three women who worked on the report. Colette Payne, the director of the Reclamation Project at the Women's Justice Institute, Deanne Banos, the co-founder of the Women's Justice Institute, and Amanda Ward, a senior research associate at Loyola University's Center for Criminal Justice Research, Policy, and Practice. Thanks to the three of you for joining us. Colette Payne, let's start with you, please. As someone who has been previously incarcerated, what does it mean to you to be able to redefine the narrative about women in prison?
Absolutely, and I just want to say thank you for having the Justice Institute. So when you look at false narratives that fuel mass incarceration, the narratives that we have been fed from society, by society, that we're not good mothers, if we have possibly used substances we are not deserving of. I was one of those mothers, and many of my peers were as well. And to redefine the narratives means that we're recreating a structure that women who have been impacted are a part of in leading and paving the way for other women.
Amanda Ward, throughout the 80s and the 90s, the women's prison population in the state, it increased by 776%, taking us to the higher numbers that we see today. What has caused that massive increase?
The increase that we saw in the number of women who are incarcerated in prison during the 80s, 90s, and much of the aughts was the result of more women being admitted to prison for low-level class 3 and 4 felonies. These are the least serious of felonies, and primarily and largely for nonviolent crimes, particularly drug-related crimes such as possession.
And Deanne, could you briefly explain, let's get to the report now, briefly explain, if you will, the three goals of this report.
So when we convened with 100 women, end up reaching 500 women or more statewide, we set three goals. The first was to devise a plan to cut the women's prison population by 50% plus and beyond, meaning we go for the first 50 and then we keep going. Very similar to the juvenile justice movement that led to a 69% reduction in the number of young people incarcerated in our state. The second goal was to reduce harm to impacted women, their children, families, and communities. There are people impacted by the system that continue to be entrenched by the system. We can't leave people behind because our prison conditions for women are deplorable in our state. And the third goal was to ensure that we're creating recommendations that improve the well-being and outcomes of women. Colette talked about redefining justice. Justice means health. It means relationship safety. It doesn't mean whether you've been arrested or not, or whether a woman who's been sexually assaulted, as 98% of women in our prisons have experienced gender-based violence and other forms of abuse and related trauma that paved their pathway to prison. Justice begins well before. So when we measure what real justice is and we measure outcomes and well-being, it means what are we doing before? What are we doing during and after in touching the system for women? Because when you have 98% gender-based violence survivors, 80% mothers, incarcerated in a system, and 58% of women in our system on a mental health caseload compared to 24% of men. Yet our women's prisons have 40% staff shortages for mental health services. That's not justice, right? That's where our public health system could pave the way. And that's why there were so many recommendations there.
Absolutely. And Amanda, working through some of that data and building on, what we just heard from Deanne, how did you develop that 50% cut goal?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we did is we looked at every single point in criminal justice policy from prior to arrest through arrest, sentencing, time in prison and reentry. And we identified strategies and policies that would reduce the number of women who moved their way through the system. And I want to emphasize here that when I say that we identified policies, this isn't just our hopes, this isn't just our dreams. We did sophisticated statistical analyses to see what the actual impact would be of our policies that we suggest in this report. So things like reducing the number of women who fall into that category of class 3 and 4 nonviolent felonies who end up even getting arrested, right? Crisis intervention, the number of women who once arrested are sentenced to prison, an increased reliance on probation, for example, and the number of women who have access to prison programming credits that would not only provide women with the opportunity to earn time off their sentence, but reduce the likelihood that they would find themselves back in prison again.
And you also look at, of course, disciplinary action. Colette, women face disciplinary action at higher rates than men. On top of that, women of color face even higher rates, like with solitary confinement. If you would talk a little bit about this harsher discipline and that further discrimination that women of color face while imprisoned.
Absolutely. It looks different for women than it does for men when it comes to disciplinary actions. So I can give you a few examples. Say, for example, me being a person, a woman who has suffered some type of form of abuse. I have had correctional officers hollering at me, telling me, hey, you're out of compliance. And what that looks like for me is the abuse that I experienced in my own community, the abuse that I experienced with my own partner. So that's what it looks like. We have to look at how women are being treated and treat them according to gender. So that's gender responsiveness. Of course, we are different. You know, oftentimes we hear, okay, well, what about the men? Well, what about the women? How are we being treated?
And
yeah,
before,
that's what it looks like.
And before we run out of time, Deanne, we've got, I think, about 30 seconds left. What is next? How do you turn this report into action?
Well, we call it the $1 billion proposition because we spent $1 billion in the last decade for a system with failed outcomes to send women to prison 20,000 times, right? And to continue to perpetuate harm with their children. The House Democratic Women's Caucus, Representative Camille Lilly, Representative Croak, LaPointe, and Ramirez are going to host a series of subject matter hearings on women's justice reinvestment strategies so that we can look at how we transform state tax dollars into real outcomes and to build our communities rather than decimate them. Okay. And that begins with investing in women.
And that's obviously something that we will keep following going forward. In the meantime, my thanks to Colette Payne, Amanda Ward, and Deanne Benos for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.